The presidential pardon power in the United States. Origin, scope, and controversy. Recently, U.S. President Joe Biden issued a pardon for his son, Hunter Biden, who had been convicted of serious federal crimes. This decision has sparked significant domestic controversy. Meanwhile, the incoming president has pledged to pardon supporters jailed for storming the Capitol 4 years ago on their first day in office. Clearly, the presidential pardon has become a tool in political battles. Let's explore the origin, scope, and controversies surrounding the U.S. presidential pardon power. The origin of presidential pardon power. The presidential pardon is a unique feature of the U.S. Constitution. It originates from Article 2, Section 2, which grants the president the authority to pardon or commute sentences for federal offenses, except in cases of impeachment against the president. This power was inspired by the British monarch's prerogative of clemency and was intended to provide the judicial system with a corrective mechanism to prevent overly rigid or unjust outcomes. Historically, British kings used clemency to resolve political conflicts and reward loyalists. The framers of the Constitution, including James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, understood both the rigidity of laws and the complexities of political realities. Therefore, they designed the pardon power as a tool for rectifying errors, as Hamilton wrote in the Federalist No. 74. In seasons of insurrection or rebellion, there are often critical moments when a well-timed offer of pardon to the insurgents or rebels may restore the tranquility of the Commonwealth. At its inception, critics feared the pardon power could be abused and become a tool for king-like authoritarianism. Supporters, however, argued that the president, as the head of state, had the authority and perspective to make wise decisions. Over time, the pardon power has been used both effectively and controversially. The scope of presidential pardon power, when it works and when it doesn't. The presidential pardon power applies only to federal offenses and cannot intervene in state-level criminal cases. For example, if someone is convicted of drug trafficking under federal law, the president can grant clemency. However, if the conviction arises from state law, that authority lies with the governor of the state. Additionally, pardons cannot be used in civil cases, such as business disputes or contract issues. The forms of clemency are diverse and include: full pardon, completely removes all legal consequences and restores the individual's legal status as though they never committed the crime. Commutation, reduces the severity of a sentence, such as shortening a prison term or reducing fines, but does not erase the criminal record. Conditional pardon, requires the recipient to meet specific obligations, such as performing community service or attending rehabilitation programs, in exchange for clemency. Preemptive pardon, grants clemency before formal charges or convictions occur, as in President Gerald Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon. The president exercises this power unilaterally, without requiring approval from Congress or the courts. While the authority is theoretically unlimited, it is constrained in practice by political considerations and public opinion. Legal authority and limits of the pardon power. Can a pardon be overturned? From a legal standpoint, the president's pardon power is nearly absolute within the federal system. Once a pardon is issued, neither Congress nor the judiciary can overturn it. However, the pardon power does not extend to impeachment cases and cannot shield individuals from congressional impeachment proceedings. Furthermore, if a pardon is perceived as an attempt to obstruct justice or conceal criminal activity, it can provoke political backlash and further investigations. Once issued, a pardon is permanent and cannot be revoked by subsequent administrations or the judicial system. Nonetheless, historical examples illustrate that the misuse of pardon power can have long-lasting consequences for a president's reputation and their political party. Historical examples of pardons and their controversies. The pardon power has played a pivotal role in U.S. history, often used during critical moments but also attracting intense scrutiny. Here are some notable examples. Lincoln's pardon of Confederate rebels. Following the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln granted widespread pardons to Confederate soldiers and officials. He believed that mercy, more than punishment, heals national wounds. While some radical Republicans in the North advocated for harsh penalties to deter future rebellion, Lincoln argued that punishment would deepen divisions, whereas pardons would aid national reconciliation. A well-known anecdote highlights Lincoln's compassion. A mother wrote to him pleading for her son, a young soldier sentenced to death for desertion. Upon reviewing the case, Lincoln discovered the soldier was only 17 and had fled out of fear. He immediately pardoned the boy, saying, "I will not add a mother's broken heart to the war's toll." Ford's pardon of Nixon. In 1974, following the Watergate scandal, President Gerald Ford issued a preemptive pardon for his predecessor, Richard Nixon, shielding him from prosecution for any crimes committed during his presidency. Ford justified the decision as necessary to help the nation move past the crisis. However, the pardon faced widespread criticism as a possible backroom deal, damaging public trust in Ford's administration and contributing to his failure to win re-election. Nevertheless, Ford later received the John F. Kennedy Profile in Courage Award for his controversial but decisive act of reconciliation. Clinton's pardon of Mark Rich. On his last day in office in 2001, President Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich, a fugitive billionaire charged with tax evasion and illegal oil trading. Rich's former wife had been a major donor to Clinton's campaigns and foundation, leading to allegations that the pardon was bought. A congressional investigation ensued, but Clinton defended the decision as legal and justified. Trump's pardons of allies. President Donald Trump issued clemency to several political allies, including Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, and Steve Bannon, all of whom faced charges related to their political activities and connections to Trump. Critics accused Trump of using the pardon power to protect his interests and undermine justice, while supporters argued these actions countered what they saw as politically motivated prosecutions. Biden's pardon of Hunter Biden. In 2024, nearing the end of his term, President Joe Biden pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, who had been convicted of federal tax and gun charges. While Biden claimed to uphold judicial independence throughout his presidency, the pardon sparked intense criticism, with opponents accusing him of abusing his power to protect a family member. Supporters, however, argued that the pardon was a compassionate act of a father. This case became one of the most contentious uses of the pardon power in U.S. history. The debate over pardons, balancing morality and legal authority. The presidential pardon power is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it offers flexibility in exceptional circumstances, such as correcting judicial errors or resolving social conflicts. On the other hand, its broad discretionary nature can undermine the principles of justice and fairness if misused for political or personal gain. Proponents view it as an essential tool for addressing systemic injustices, while critics fear its potential for abuse, particularly in protecting political allies or concealing misconduct. Although the pardon power cannot be directly constrained by legal mechanisms, public scrutiny and political consequences serve as checks on its abuse. Ultimately, the use of this power reflects the wisdom, integrity, and moral judgment of the president wielding it. In the years to come, the debate over this power will undoubtedly persist, shaping both public opinion and the course of American political history.